I understand that that because this is a Canadian event, there's going to be an inordinate amount of focus on the Canadian players, and I'm sure, and they're okay with it as well. But I wonder if maybe we aren't too quick to get too disappointed when it comes to Milos Raonic and Genie Bouchard. And I think we need to remember just how strong tennis is right now. Tennis is a pretty good place right now in terms of the talent level. Arash Madani is on the scene in Montreal for us. He will be there tonight. Rafael Nadal will be taking on Denis Shapovalov, and Arash Madani joins us on the Jeff Blair Show. So I got his name right, eh?
No, you didn't. It's Shapovalov.
Travis.
So Shapovalov.
Shapovalov. There we go. Dennis, I'm going to call him.
Denis, there you go.
What is Dennis?
They're calling him Denis here.
Well, that would be good. Okay, I'm okay with that. What does Denis? What does Denis have to do to have success against Rafael Nadal?
Well, he's got to, serve really well, and he's got to play out of his mind. And if that all happens, he'll lose 6-3, 6-4. I mean, he's 18 years old, Jeff, and he's a phenom, and his game is big, and he's got a lot of tools, and he's improving like crazy. But we're talking about a guy who just won his 10th French Open 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what an opportunity, what a moment. I mean, here's a dude, again, a teenager who grew up watching Juan Martín del Potro win the U.S. Open, who grew up watching Rafa Nadal, and here he is playing against them, winning 2 Masters 1000 matches.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
I'm wondering when you're a young player and you're playing against guys that you've watched a lot, guys you've idolized. And I mean, especially the top players in tennis, there's a big opportunity if you're a serious tennis player to watch them. Have you talked to guys about just how different an opponent is when you're on the court against him compared to the guy you're watching on TV? Now, that you can watch tape, you can study, you can try to pick up tendencies, I would imagine, all that stuff. But when you actually get out on the court, it's just,
oh my God, is Roger Federer standing right there in front of me?
And it's just got to come faster, doesn't it? Isn't it just faster for younger guys than anything they would think?
Yeah, and I don't think there's a manual for it in any sport. If Andrew Wiggins went up against Kobe Bryant, what must have he thought about the whole thing? And even Peter Polansky yesterday, he was 29 and face-fed 3 years before, you could tell he was rattled by the moment, the stage, and who was in front of him. That's part of this aura of invincibility these guys have. Part of it is that they are Rafa Nadal, they are Roger Federer, because unlike golf, you're just unless it's your playing partner, you're basically on your own. You may look over and say, "Geez, there's a few years ago, man, that's Tiger Woods right there. What am I doing out here with him? That's Mickelson. What am I doing out here with him?" But in tennis, you're looking across the way, and the whole thing, Polansky probably woke up yesterday and said, "It's fed." It's the net for the coin flip. It's fed. And Dennis Dennis is a he's a kid. He's a brazen kid. He may not feel that. He did serving for the match yesterday, but I don't know how much he's going to feel that before the match.
You talk about him being a brazen kid. Tell us a little bit about that, because I was at the Conn Smythe dinner last year, and I remember him showing up. Just it might have been 48 hours after the
Davis Cup.
The Davis Cup match. Yeah, when he hit the umpire in the eye. Just kind of aimlessly firing the ball towards the crowd in anger, and it hits the umpire in the eye. And I remember just thinking to myself, my God, for a young age, like if that was the rest of us, we'd probably want to run and hide and maybe call and beg out because travel is an issue, and people probably would understand. But I just remember thinking the kid up there, just giving him an inordinate amount of credit for doing that. What is he? Is that just him? Is that what he's like?
Yeah, and he's grown up in a hurry because of that. He's had to. And the one thing that the people at Tennis Canada were a little weary about with Dennis was the temper, was how fly off the handle he could be. And then that happened in February, and things were going to go one of two ways. He was either going to shape up, or this could have been his demise and crumble, and it happened, in a positive way since. Because he's realized that I have to keep things in check. And one thing he said to me, Jeff, on the weekend that I thought was really interesting, he said, I can't show even the slightest bit of emotion on the court because my opponent is going to notice that, and that can be a momentum change just by the way I behave.
Right.
So that's something usually, a player will pick up 3-4 years into this whole circuit. And Denis has realized that now. The other thing with Shapovalov is this, and I think this is an interesting one, that his coach, Marty Larondo, coach for now, who is also the Davis Cup captain, Larondo said, we'll implement something in practice. We'll talk about something in the meeting before practice. And if Denis agrees with it and buys into it, he'll start using it right away. It's not one of those scenarios where, okay, let's just integrate this into what we're doing and let's wait for, hard court season to do it and start working on a little bit. It's, okay, if it makes sense to me, let's get into this and let's work on it and let's get better at it. And then let's use it in the match. So many athletes are very apprehensive about changing anything because they don't want to affect their confidence. They don't want to affect something that may be working for them. Shapovalov is of the belief that if we think this can work for us, let's use it right away. And that to me shows a little bit of maturity too.